Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I want to share some useful apps that I think every musician and band should have, which will help you with your visual branding and marketing and generally staying organized. And today's one is going to be quite quick because I wanted it to be short, concise and helpful, and also my camera's having a mare. So we'll see if we can get a little video today. Okay, so I wanted to share some apps that will be useful to you. So these are a few apps that are useful to musicians and bands with helping with their visual branding and marketing. So we're gonna dive right in. So I have mentioned this before, but Unum. I'll put the images of the apps on the screen. So Unum is for planning your Instagram grid. It also has analytics, which is extremely useful. So you should be checking your analytics regularly to see which posts are working for you and which aren't. And then those analytics will then help you make decisions with content going forward. Plus, Unum lets you plan your grid. So your Instagram grid should aesthetically represent you as an artist or band. So when people click on your profile, they're like, yes, that's what I'm getting. I know what you're about. It's visually perfect. So yeah, Unum, you can plan your grid, make sure the photos look right next to each other, and then you know which order of photos you need to post in. The next one is Film. Film with 2 M's. This is a great handy little mobile video editor. I use Final Cut for music videos. I sometimes use iMovie for these YouTube videos as they're quite basic editing. But Film is so good for like TikTok videos or vertical videos for whatever reason. Just a really handy, good, solid mobile video editor. Would definitely recommend. Then onto photos, Snapseed. I would use Snapseed to edit all your photos. When we talk again about your Instagram grid and your aesthetic being consistent, photo editing is a big part of that. Make sure that you find a solid editing style that works for you and be consistent with it. Obviously, there are other elements that you need to be consistent with. The editing is just a small part, but it is something that you can work out your settings and stick to them. And I would recommend Snapseed. Again, equivalent to Film, it's like a little mini Photoshop on your phone. It's just, and it's user-friendly, it's easy to use. Really good, would recommend. It's just, it lets you go like a lot further than the basics that you can do on your standard iPhone, but obviously it's much more user-friendly than Photoshop. So yeah, it's a good one. Okay, so the next ones are for scheduling your social media posts. So I would recommend looking at Hootsuite, Buffer, and Later. And this will heavily depend on your social media schedule and what sort of channels are your focus ones. So I always recommend having 2 main focus channels, and those will be chosen dependent on where your audience is and your own personal skills. So I have got a social media video which will be helpful to you, so I'll link that below. You can go and watch that after this. So Later is mainly for Instagram. So for if your Instagram is your main channel, look at Later for scheduling it. Hootsuite I don't think is as user-friendly as the other 2, but if you've got a load of different accounts and a load of channels, so maybe you have your own business alongside a band or something like that, if you have multiple channels, then I would look at diving into Hootsuite. And Buffer, I personally just use for tweets. And I find it the best for that. But obviously look at all of them, delve in and see which one is suited best to you, dependent on your platforms and your schedule. Okay, so the next one is called Paper, and I swear by this app. It is such a simple concept. It is basically a digital filing cabinet. You have notebooks laid out, and you make notes in them. It is that simple, but it means you don't have 100 notebooks or bits of paper lying about. Everything's neat and digital, but you can separate all your things. So if you're a band or musician, you can have a notebook for your marketing campaign or a notebook for writing lyrics. And I just feel like it's a great way to help you get organized. It's so simple and easy to use, but it just makes you feel really on it. And obviously you can separate everything into sections, so not everything doesn't get muddled up and messy. So I would definitely recommend having a look at that just to stay organized and on it. Okay, the next one is Canva. And this is for sort of graphics, graphic design. I would always recommend investing in a graphic designer or a photographer or a videographer. Any creative services I think is definitely worth investing in. I just need to put that out there. But I also understand that when you're starting out, or if you have an extremely low / non-existent budget, that you still want to be able to try and do these things without having to invest in someone just yet. So I recommend these apps, the making your own videos, doing your own photos, etc. Either when you have absolutely no budget, I would say learn as much as you can and do the best you can with it. But once you do have a budget, definitely consider investing in those services. But for graphics, Canva. I've heard a lot of good things. A lot of people love this. I found it the best one that isn't the Adobe suite. So try that out for any graphics, YouTube thumbnails, social media graphics, flyers, that type of thing. You do have to have a good eye as well. It's not a case of just learning these programs or apps in terms of design. But if you know you have a good eye, then go for it. I think you'll be able to come up with something great while you are on no budget. If you don't, if you know that this is not your forte, then try and find a friend or relative who does have a good eye for style and design and get them to assist you with it, because it will make the world of difference. Like, it's not a tick box step-by-step thing. Like, you can advise, but it does come down to having a good eye for detail and a good eye for the creative stuff. So yeah, so those are my useful apps that I think every musician or band should have that will help you with your visual branding and marketing and the general staying organized and on top of it all. If there's any others that you use that you would recommend, then please let me know in the comments. And yeah, I hope they are useful to you. Thanks for watching. Bye.